Everybody, it is Alex here, back again from the Comic Central, and today we are going to be going over my Robin's Reading Guide Part 1. Now, I've decided to split this into two parts because I just feel like a bit too unnatural of a video if I fit all four Robins into this, and if you didn't know, there are four Robins, those being Dick Grayson, Jason Todd, Tim Drake, and Damian Wayne. In this video, I'm going to be going over the first two, Dick Grayson, who becomes Nightwing, and Jason Todd, who becomes Red Hood. So, what I've decided to do is to do one-off stories and runs that I think you should read. There's a lot more stuff for Nightwing compared to Red Hood because has been more Nightwing books. I think it's like 300 and so near 300 to 350 issues of Nightwing compared to Jason, whose solo runs have gotten like 60 issues combined or something. It feels like it's not a lot for Jason. So that's what I've decided to do. So there's going to be a lot more of that. So what I've decided to do is I'm going to start with Jason, and then I'll go over to Dick, even if that's not natural. So yeah. Okay, now I think through these two videos, Jason is going to have probably the least recommendations, which he might be my least favorite Robin. Leading up to this, I did polls on my YouTube community tab, and I said, hey, who do you think's the best Robin? So I did, ended up doing 4 polls, so I did, who do you prefer, Dick Grayson, Jason Todd? Dick Grayson won. And then I did, who do you prefer, Damian Wayne, Tim Drake? And Tim Drake won. And then I did finals, and then I did for third and fourth. So Jason was in fourth, and then it was Damian, Tim, and Dick, which as characters, that's my ranking. So the community appears to agree with me, but I still do really like Jason. I think that all the Robins are written well, to an extent. But sadly, Jason just doesn't have good runs, and he has a lot of character regression recently, just in the comics where it's a status quo of he's not using guns, then he's using guns, and is a murderer. And then he's made peace with it, and then he's back. It's a lot, and then he has all these runs. He was part of the Outlaws, and then no, they're disbanded, and then they're back because resets. It's a lot. So yeah, but we'll do runs, and then we'll do stories because there's more standard stories. Okay, so the first book that we have up here to talk about is Red Hood and the Outlaws, Volume 1, Dark Trinity, DC Rebirth. Now, I very much enjoyed this book. This book is written by Scott Lobdell, and the pencils is by Dexter Soy. This is it's just a good book, in my opinion. It took me a little bit. I needed to, I think, reread it once or twice to really understand it, but I do, in fact, enjoy it. I enjoy it so much, I reviewed this book on the channel with my best friend Blake, so you can watch that after this if you want to, or after you've read the book, but I'd recommend it as a run, I'd say, probably. I've only read the first volume because the other volumes are out of print, but you can read it online on something I don't know, if you have a Kindle, or Comixology, something like that, or DC, the DC, is it Infinite or Universe? I don't completely remember, but that DC app. Some amazing art by Dexter Soy, I cannot deny. It's just really good. So that is the first sort of book that I can say is it's a run, and not a lot of the other books are runs. So that's the thing. The only other run that for Red Hood is the Scott Lobdell New 52 one, which isn't great as a different team. Because in Rebirth, it's Bizarro and Artemis. In this one, I prefer the roster as characters, but it just doesn't work that well. So I don't know. I don't really recommend it. And next we have a book. I think I wanted to put it in this video because Jason just has the least amount of books. So I thought, might as well just throw it in here. I'm going to talk about this creator in the Nightwing section as well, but that creator is Tim Seeley. This is Robin's being Robin. I believe this is just a one-off story with all the Robins. I thought of this idea as a thing, but it's interesting thing. This book is written by Tim Seeley, and the art is by Baldemir Rivas, I believe. As I say, I apologize, I could be wrong. I met both of these creators at Kansas City Comic-Con. They're very cool. I got this book signed by both of them, and I even got a cool sketch by Tim Seeley in it. Tim Seeley is really cool, and he's one of my favorite creators. Meeting him, because he's just so awesome, and that's a book I'd recommend as a one-off story. Another story that I haven't read, but is a Red Hood story that I hear good things about, is The Three Jokers, that to an extent has Jason in a role in it. So I think that's a good book to get, I guess, and it has some other characters in it too. But yeah. Next we have the two most iconic Jason things. Now I have to go into minor spoilers for these next two, but yeah. So the first one we have is Batman Under the Red Hood. Now, Batman Under the Red Hood is really good. There's a reason why it got an animated movie. I think I might even prefer the animated movie to an extent, because of how it slims down the story to be perfect, even if I like some stuff in this, like some of his stealing kryptonite and stuff. It's about the mystery of the Red Hood, and as I sort of said, the Red Hood is Jason Todd. Sorry, minor spoilers. But the reason why it's called it used to be Batman Under the Hood, but it's now Under the Red Hood because of the movie. This book is written by Judd Winnick with art by the awesome, amazing Doug Mahnke. This book I have here, it's another signed one. Can't see it because I have it behind the camera, but it's signed. It was really cool. It was nice meeting him at Kansas City Comic Con as well. I've met some really cool creators. He was one. So yeah. Now this and Under the Red Hood are the most famous stories for Jason Todd. And that is Batman Death in the Family. And it's about, well, it's Jason Todd's death. I'm sorry. It's like on the cover and stuff. So if you buy it, you just know it. Yeah, Jason dies. So yeah. I think we need to go over, so the three one-off stories I mentioned, or like the main ones being Three Jokers. Three Jokers collected in trade paperback, hardcover, and absolute edition. The Batman Under the Red Hood is collected in a trade paperback and a deluxe edition. And Batman Death in the Family is collected in a oversized hardcover, or deluxe edition, and is collected in a trade paperback. That's what's in print. And the Red Hood are collected in trade, some in print, some out of print. Yeah. So now let's go on to Nightwing. Okay, now it's time to talk about Dick Grayson, who is probably my favorite character in the comics. I've mentioned this a few times, on the channel. My profile picture for the channel before I have the one I have now was Nightwing. It was a Dan Mora image, I believe. And I just really like the character. I've liked him. One of my first comics is in this list. If you've watched some of my Q&As and stuff. Yeah. But we have two standalone stories first, and then we'll get on to all the runs and all the nice, fancy, amazing stuff. So the first story I have here, both these stories I love. So the first standalone story is Robin and Batman, which is written by Jeff Lemire and illustrated by Dustin Nguyen. Two creators that I think are amazing. It's great. This story is 3 issues, but they're longer. It's just like they're double issues. Sounds right. So it's 40-page issues or 45-page issues. So the story's around standard trade. It's found in a standard-sized hardcover and a trade paperback. I believe that is all it's collected in. So, yeah. I really like this story. I would recommend it if you want to get sort of the origin of Dick Grayson as Robin. But not like the full origin, sort of like the fallout of him like starting being Robin and meeting the original Teen Titans and some of that stuff. And the other book I have is his origin as Nightwing, with being Nightwing Year 1. I'm having some problems right now. By Chuck Dixon, Scott Beatty, and Scott McDaniel, and Andy Owens. I know Chuck Dixon is the writer. And then there's all the artists, pencilers, letterers, all that. So, yeah, it's really good of a story. It establishes him fully of how he becomes Nightwing. This is part of Chuck Dixon's run on Nightwing. This book is only collected in a deluxe edition, which released last year, and that's the only way to collect it since the trade paperback. Oh wait, never mind. I just remembered. It is in a box set. You can only get the trade through a box set where you have to buy Robin Year 1 and Batgirl Year 1 along with it. It's a box set where it's a $60 box set with all three of those trades. So it's in the oversized hardcover, which if you just want that story, I just get that, and it can be pretty good priced on Amazon. Like, I think I got it pre-order for $20 when it's $35 cover. So, yeah. I really enjoy it. Now on to runs. So this is the first run that I have that isn't like a character, I guess, fully character-focused run. Because Red Hood and the Outlaws is like, oh yeah, Red Hood's the name, but he is part of a team. But this book that I have here is The New Teen Titans by Marv Wolfman and George Perez. This is a legendary run which defined the Teen Titans to sort of be like DC's X-Men, where they're just like that main flagship team. And I enjoy it. Some amazing art by George Perez, I cannot lie, and Marv Wolfman is legendary for this and creating Crisis on Infinite Earths. Even if it's done to death, it's a really good story. With that being said, I can't say much. It's collected in, I believe, some trades, but mainly the most notable thing is that right now, at least, in print is an omnibus of the first volume, and the other volumes aren't in print, and other things in the run that are in print are a DC Finest collection of the Judas Contract, which is issues, I think it's bound issues 36 to like 48 or something. I could be wrong on that, just rough estimate. But that's where you get Nightwing's first canonical appearance versus his actual origin. So, like, the more canonical origin is the one in Year 1, but the actual, like, in-comic origin is there, but it's a bit confusing with comic continuity, of course. And now we need to go into the next book, and this is one of my first comics ever, this run. It was specifically Volume 3, but we'll just talk about the run as a whole and why I recommend it. And that run is Nightwing by Kyle Higgins. This is the New 52 Nightwing. Where he has the red costume. I prefer the blue, but I don't hate the red. This is a very interesting story. It sort of ties into the New 52 Batman with Court of Owls, and that goes through for the first 2 volumes, and then in the 3rd volume it ties in with Death of the Family, and then it gets that 4th volume, which I think is the best, and then there's that final volume, which sets up Grayson. So there's one, like, fully untapped volume that I really like, and I also enjoy volumes 1 and 2. 3 is, like, fine, but it's the best tie-in, I think, of Death of the Family. Now, there's difference of Death of versus Death in the Family, which I just talked about earlier. One was New 52, and they would sort of a play on the thing, but on the name, but it wasn't, like, the same, so to fix confusion, that's why it's there. So that's why I put New 52 Nightwing on the list. Now we need to go back to Chuck Dixon's Nightwing. And he did a very long run-ish. I think he did like 60 issues, which might not seem like a very, very, very long thing, but if comics are monthly, then that's 5 years of his life to that book. And then he came back in the early hundreds, and that's how you get Nightwing Year 1, I believe. So, there's a compendium, or at least 2 compendiums out that collects it, and that's basically the only way to collect it right now. Nothing else is in print, no omnis, no nothing. And for the Nightwing by Kyle Higgins, there's an omnibus that is getting reprinted this year, which is great. The next book I need to talk about is Grayson. It's basically if Dick Grayson was James Bond, to an extent. He works for a spy organization, and he does spy stuff, and it's awesome, and it's cool. And the omnibus, I believe, is in print, and there's also trade paperbacks. Simple to talk about. It's good. It's fun. It's sort of a side book to read, but I think it's a good read still. Now we have Nightwing Volume 1, Better Than the Batman, or just the entire run, which is DC Universe Rebirth, and the art's by Javier Fernandez, but I think there's various artists throughout the run. There's an omnibus releasing, I believe, this week. I think it might actually release the day this releases. It's in April, I believe it releases. Good to talk to Tim Seeley. He just has like a few at his house, nothing much. The design's great. I believe it collects all that Nightwing run, which I think is 5 volumes or so of it. And it sort of is backtracking where the Grayson stuff did happen, but it's bringing him back to being Nightwing, and it gives him the blue suit again, which is amazing because I think the blue's just better in general. And yeah, I think that's why he should be on the list for that run. It's good. I like it. I haven't read much more beyond that first volume because most of it is out of print. The only one that's in print is Volume 1, Better Than the Batman, and the omnibus will be releasing very soon. Okay, now we need to talk about what I think is my favorite comic on this list. This is an amazing run. This is my favorite Nightwing run that's ever been made. The art's amazing by Bruno Redondo, and it is written by Tom Taylor. Tom Taylor's Nightwing run is amazing. There's no other way of stating it other than that it's excellent. There is, I believe, 7... I need to check real quick. There's, I believe, 8 or 9 volumes of this run. I have all of them in hardcover. There's going to be an omnibus releasing this year. Like, this feels like sort of the near year of Nightwing Omnis, where every single one of the just Nightwing Omnis are being reprinted, and Grayson got reprinted, I think, 2 years ago. So that's in print, so you can, at a time, buy all Nightwing Omnis that exist, which is amazing, I guess, for the super fans, even if I won't buy all of them, because I have all the Kyle Higgins trades, and I only have one Tim Seeley, so I'll probably eventually buy that Omni. So yeah. But Tom Taylor is just an amazing writer. He's one of my favorite comic writers. His Detective Comics that's going on right now is something I'd recommend. It's really good. But this Nightwing run sort of redefines the character to an extent of putting him at sort of the face of DC, where the Justice League is replaced by the Titans that Nightwing's leading, so he's leading, he's like Batman, basically, because Batman's sort of done and gone, and this has some really good stuff. There's even a minor little crossover-ish thing where Jason's in an issue, and it's really, really cool. There's a crossover also with his other book that was going on at the time with Superman, Son of Kal-El, which I don't fully hate. Hot take. I don't think it's, like, terrific, as some may say, but yeah, Tom Taylor, really good writer, and I love that Nightwing run. Now, the current run on Nightwing is done by Dan Waters with art by the aforementioned Dexter Soy, who did Red Hood and Rebirth. I stopped getting it in my pull. I've sort of cut back on my monthly, even if I haven't been doing it for a long time. But, yeah, wasn't my favorite thing. It's still good, but it's not Tom Taylor, in my opinion. So, yeah, that's my opinion on that matter, but I think that they're good. So now for my final thoughts. Hey, we're over with this, part of it. I'm gonna do the next one where I go over, Tim Drake and, Damian Wayne reading recommendations for Robin, and, their, characters that they grow into, which is Red Robin, and I guess Drake for that small time. Thanks, Bendis. I that's my first time making that joke. I just started to say it, but I love Brian Michael Bendis. He's great, but yeah, that's beside the point. I guess thanks to all of you for watching. You can find me here on the Comic Central, where I would very much appreciate if you subscribed and liked the video and commented to give your thoughts on like video recommendations and some constructive criticism, I guess, to make these videos better for all y'all. I try to post as often as I can, and I also have a podcast, which is on Spotify, where I am slowly posting the episodes on YouTube. It is the Central Comics Podcast on Spotify. I do that with my brother Zach, on a basis of time. Yeah, it's chaos since he's at college, but it'll be more consistent when the summer-ish thing starts, so like mid-May, it'll be more consistent. I have a Discord server, the Comic Central Discord, which is very much, I think it's a fun community, that you can see. And do I have anything else to say? I'm just sort of thinking, make sure I got everything. I think that's it. And thanks to all of you for watching. And I am going to actually start working on the anime series just after I finish editing this. So yeah, until next time, I'm out.